How's it going? It's Marianne and Rexy, and we're 5150. And today we're doing an off topic, so we don't have to waste our time on the weekend when we do our actual show to talk about a topic that came up this week on X with a bunch of. I personally, I don't know about you, but I don't think those people were 15 and 17 that we were talking to. So, but you have to take them at face value. So we're talking today about rock and roll girlfriends and wives and how young is too young. And today we're going to start with where it started, which was the discussion around David Ellefson. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, I believe it was in 2021, David Ellefson had some videos leaked of him masturbating. He was totally naked. And he apparently didn't know that he was being videotaped. He had been in some sort of, it was a couple of years. From what I found in this study and research is that she was 18. She was never 17. And he met her at an autograph session. They exchanged emails and then met one other time for soda in a hotel lobby because David's sober. And she basically what happened was they got into it. Apparently, she admits that she initiated the mutual masturbation which was what happened, or sexting as they call it, and basically she started sharing it with friends, and one of the friends released it online, and it basically destroyed David's career in a lot of ways. Dave must, here comes Rexy's, I can't wait. She's got her comments ready. Basically, David was kicked out of Megadeth. This was his second time in Megadeth. And I think had been in it for 11 years, from Super Collider up to Dystopia. And then he replaced him with J-Lo, who Lomenzo is a great bass player. He played for Black Label Society. I love him. He's a really sweet guy. We have another thing in common with J-Lo as well. J-Lo went on, and then I'll go back on topic. J-Lo went on The Amazing Race, and he went on with a guy named Mark Abatista. And remember, I told you, Rexy, Mark Abatista, he managed David Ellefson when I was running his Facebook or his MySpace pages. So this is the lawyer that wanted to put the pornographer on the page. But we'll get back into that afterwards. So I guess we'll start at the beginning. So first of all, she's 18 and he's 54, I believe, at the time. What's your opinion on that?
Well, my opinion is that, well, this was all like done online in video. So it wasn't like he was like actually touching this person. It's just raw video. It's sexting and all that kind of crap, or whatever you want to call it nowadays. And she was of legal age. I think actually her age was really 19 anyway.
Yeah, well, she had, like, when they had the mutual masturbation sessions, she was 19.
Okay, so she was like even already over legal age. So it's kind of like, this is basically has nothing to do with law, Mm-hmm. It has to do with morals and values and stuff like that. So morally and value, like, no, it's really gross. I find it disgusting, but it's not so much that it really, shocks me too much. So, in this kind of platform setting, it doesn't really bother me. They were both consented type people. It wasn't like he was trying to just, he just went on there and said, "Oh, look at me," and
look at my dick.
All freaked out. This was something that they both participated in,
Right. Like what happened to me one time was I was corresponding back and forth with a guy named Lon Friend who used to run Rip Magazine. You remember Rip Magazine?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we decided to Zoom call. This was about 2014. Now I'm an adult, so I think it was in my late 40s then. And he comes online and he's totally naked.
Ew.
Didn't fucking tell me he was going to do that. And, no wonder I was so uncomfortable. And I got off as quickly as I could. Not got off. I ended the Zoom conversation as quickly as possible. I was just freaked out. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, this is one of the biggest problems nowadays is that when you're polite to somebody or say words to them that, are complimentary, people think you're hitting on them. And you're not. You're just being nice. Like being nice nowadays is just like, it's a mistake. You need to be an asshole all the time so people just stay away from you. So yeah, so basically with David, and I believe, what was her name?
I don't
Let me
remember.
just see. I think we've
There's
got
a
it.
while back, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let me just see if I've got it. But they basically, as far as crime is concerned, David was the one who actually went to the police because, oh, that's the Steven Tyler one we're going to talk about after. The girl's name is Lorraine, and she was 18 to 19 when they met and had their online relationship. She didn't release the footage publicly. She admitted to recording the interactions and sharing them with friends without Ellefson's permission. So Ellefson didn't know that. So it basically, you know, that's the kind of thing that they do when they're going to extort somebody or blackmail them. My question is, so she shared these with friends, Lorraine did, and the friend actually released them and said that Ellefson was a pedophile and Ellefson had groomed her. And so yesterday, Rexy, or the day before, Rexy and I were on X harassing people as usual, the good teamwork that we do. And these people claimed they were young. They claimed they were 17 and 19 and 15. And I don't believe that. I believe that the conversation, just even the way they were articulating themselves, was too adult to be like 17. Like, and why would you want to talk to us anyway? So anyway, they were saying that David Ellefson was grooming her and all that. So I said, you know what, maybe we should talk about this because, you know, I mean, age differentiation, especially in rock and roll when it comes to men and women, even though Cher, who's just turned, I believe, 80, her boyfriend is 47 and they're getting married with no prenup this year. So, you know, you go girl. Same with Demi Moore, right? With Ashton Kutcher, another one where there's like a huge age gap. But you know, and it didn't work.
Well,
He ended up
the women. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh, is it okay if it's women? well, I mean, so basically, what we got from this was that the friend released the videos. He didn't know he was being videotaped. I mean, that's career suicide to be videotaped doing something like that. I mean, I just think it is. And so with Lorraine, she was sharing it with her friends, which, you know, and then the friend released it. So like I said, my question was always like, what was the motive behind releasing the videos? Because like, did he break up with her? Did he say, look, we can't talk like this anymore? I think everybody should know for background. Between 2008 and 2010, did some personal assistant work for David Ellefson. I built his MySpace for him. And then I started helping him with his band Hail, which was run by Mark Abatista. And that relationship ended up ending. He was a nerd. When I talked to him, I mean, I don't think he even swore. You know, I mean, he was using words like gosh. So, you know, that's why when somebody told me about this, and when I looked at the video and it looks like AI, but, you know, I mean, I don't know what he's been up to for the last 10 years. I know he's still happily married. It didn't seem to affect his marriage at all. When I was working for David, Hale was performing somewhere, and this woman who did webcam sex gave them an 8x10 that said, "Hale, impale me." And she was wearing like almost nothing. And a Viking hat, right? And I said to David, you know, is this, you're going to cut off, like, this is your female fan base you're putting up here if you put this photograph up. Because I've done my background on this woman and she's a pornographer. And like, Mark Abatista, as he's known in the music world, he's known as ABBA. ABBA was like, she's a mogul. I'm like, she's making money off of sex on the internet. It's not that hard. If you're half decent looking and you do weird things, you're always, you know, if you can find a proper following, you can make money. Like it's a fact, right? Like you look at someone like Riley Reid, who's like, I believe 38, but she looks like she's about 15. And so she just hand over fists makes money, right? But she also makes sure that, and she's also married, and she also makes sure everybody knows that she's an adult. But, you know, I mean, looking barely legal is, you know, it worked for her, and she's a mogul too. But this picture was the one in question. And I said, I'm not posting this. I'm not posting this on this page. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's exploitive. It's objectifying women. And unless you're going to give me a picture of a guy with a dick in his hand, no, this can't happen. And at that point, Mark Abatista told me to give him all the passwords to the MySpaces, and I was fired. And I told him to go fuck himself because I'd done all the work. And he instead opened up 2 new MySpaces for David and Hale. And that's how they got rid of me.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, well, fuck them, right? Like, I mean, this is typical entertainment industry. The guy was a lawyer. Abba's a lawyer. Abba, even admitted to me, he said, the best part of my job is I get to follow around rock bands and travel for free.
Yeah. But we were
not
talking
a great
about
well, and when J-Lo and Mark went on Amazing Race, J-Lo's dad was sick, which I'll take that into consideration. But also what happened was Abba somehow, even though he's traveled with bands a million zillion times, lost his passport during the second leg of the race, so that they were kicked off the race. It was because he couldn't handle it. Right. So he set it up so that he made it that he lost his passport. So without a passport, you can't continue in the race. So yeah, he's a typical lawyer. Right. So anyway, so we were having this discussion online with a bunch of people who were claiming to be under 21. And they are all saying that Dave groomed her. And so basically, like I said, I haven't heard anything. It didn't affect his marriage, which I find very interesting. Because I don't know a lot of women.
Oh, I thought there was a possibility of being divorced, but I don't.
Oh, definitely. That's the thing. This is a Minnesota fan. Like, he's originally from Minnesota, very religious, and he lives in Arizona with his wife. Not a lot of women are going to live in Arizona, so he found himself a winner. And I'm interested in living in a place where you can fry eggs, and it's open carry, for weapons in Arizona. So people walk around with AR-15 strapped to their backs, like, I'm good. That's why I'm glad there's no open carry up here in Canada.
Well,
so
I've been to Arizona and Texas. I that's the best place for.
I love Texas.
Yeah. So you're not American, so
no. I'm Canadian. It does.
Right. You have to understand that basically guns is basically being able to carry a gun is the greatest thing in the world.
It's like a pair of paws.
Unfortunately, we can't do that where I live in the United States because I live in a never mind state.
Okay.
It's an asshole state. But
would it be considered a flyover state?
It's kind of like if you're going to get raped or get attacked, and you're women. We're women. We don't have the actual physical strength to beat the crap out of a man. The great equalizer is a gun. So,
okay, yeah.
All right, there's your equalizer. Also, basically, I always hear about these shootings in schools. Well, let me put it to you this way: if someone's going to go into your school and shoot it, they're going to do it no matter what. If the laws are strict or not, they're criminals. They're going to get the gun. They're going to do it anyway.
Most of the time,
they're going to get the fucking gun. It doesn't really matter what kind of laws you set.
Well, that's the interesting thing, because gun laws, it's not about the guns that are owned and registered. It's illegal guns. Like up here in Canada, we have an illegal gun problem. Down in the United States, you have an illegal gun problem. And most of these spree shooters, I think only a few of them, the weapon actually was registered to them. So these are people that are buying these weapons. I mean, it's an open market. I watched, there's this woman, her name is Marianne Van, I can't remember her last name, but she has a series on Nat Geo that you can find on Disney Plus called Trafficked. And one of the, in the series, she does everything. She does meth, she does wild animals, she does one on weapons. And she basically bought herself an AR-15 on film, like out of the back of some guy's car in the States.
Yeah. Well, yeah, probably down in the middle of the city in the ghetto areas or somewhere like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the ones that are
kind of like the idea. It's kind of like this. I think what they do is they kind of scrub off serial numbers and stuff like that. Put on there.
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
it's always been like that. Well, I don't know if it's always been like that, but it's been like that for a while. But it was always under control because, when you have like corrupted politicians, they're more basically concerned with their power and to keep the normal citizen taxpayer who's innocent and follows all the rules from basically protecting themselves. You
Yeah.
know, it's really a corrupt system. But we kind of got off topic.
No, I know, but we can, that's the best part is that this is not an on topic show.
So it's
but
kind of like,
but
I
yeah, but
don't want to go through an hour just
yeah.
talking about
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, well, we can get into that because we were already talking about E. Jean Carroll earlier this morning, but that's another story.
That's another
I
story.
fucking told. All I have to say to everybody out there is, I fucking told you. I knew right from the beginning that googly-eyed bitch was absolutely not Trump material, and he would never touch her. So what her motive was, that's a rabbit hole in itself. So we won't go down there. But it's nice to see that it's nice to see that finally one of these liars, one of these Me Too liars, because I've seen so many people lose their jobs, lose their careers over Me Too, which we can get into too, which includes Marilyn Manson. With Evan Rachel Wood, which we can go to right now if you want. But I guess we'll wrap up the Ellefson stuff. The Ellefson stuff, what ended up happening was I think there was 2 or 3 encounters, and then she was sharing them with friends, which is something I said to you, Rexy. I said a teenager would never be able to keep corresponding or having phone conversations or meeting with a rock star quiet. They wouldn't keep that kind of secret. Like their parents would probably know, but for sure their friends would know. And in this case, her friends knew. And I believe she's Dutch. So, they're a little more sexually aware earlier. Like, I mean, prostitution's legal in Holland and
like Amsterdam and all that.
Yeah, exactly. So, and they have in Europe they have the page 2 girl, like, and we have a newspaper here called the Toronto Sun, and page 2 has a girl in a bikini. Whereas I don't know what she's wearing now. I haven't read the Star or the Sun in a long time. But in Europe, when the Sun is the page 2 girl, she's topless. So do you remember that singer Samantha Fox?
Yeah, I remember her.
Well, she was a page 2 girl.
Oh.
So yeah, well, remember how huge her boobs were? It's massive. She couldn't sing. I mean, she had like 2 songs.
These people were like such a blur back at that period of time for me because I wasn't really into those pop singer types. So it's kind of like I saw her, she was attractive. Okay, whatever. I don't care.
She was cute. I remember her only because
I don't care.
There was at some point there was allegations of a cross pollination with John Bon Jovi. So there were pictures of her with him. So and as a teenager you're like, oh, she's not good enough for him anyway. But he's been with Dorothea since high school, so who knows if he get cheated or whatever. I don't think so. I don't know.
I have no interest in John Bon Jovi.
Yeah, I know. Well, you said he's a commie.
Yeah, he's a commie, and he's I don't even like his voice. I actually never liked their music that much.
Really? Okay. I like what you said, Laura. He's like. I know his guitar tech is that guitar tech that I know from all the other bands, AC/DC, Nickelback, Metallica, who I do the coffee exchange with.
I really never cared for it. It's just very it's kind of, I call it bland.
Okay.
To me, that their type of heavy metal or hair metal.
It's hair metal.
Bland.
Hair metal. Well, he's had a couple of good guitar solos though. Like, I mean, he is a good guitarist.
Yeah, but if you take like a band like Dokken, they had like great songs.
Fuck.
And you had George Lynch, which was actually the phenomenal guitarist.
He's an amazing guitarist. He's like I actually got to see Dokken on that Monsters of Rock show when I went to the States because they didn't tour Canada a lot. And yeah, George Lynch is like Mr. Scary is like back then was one of like the best in your musical song, like he's just, and that's why I thought it was weird when he actually, changed the name of Lynch Mob to be politically correct. He's changed it back now, but he actually was changing it because somebody told him, you can't say Lynch Mob, it's racist.
Lynch Mob was better than Dokken for a while.
Oh yeah, Lynch Mob's great, but they told him to change the name, which is why it's so weird. But anyway, okay, so basically what happened with Ellefson was he did not groom this girl. The girl admitted everything was consensual. She is the one who initiated the mutual masturbation, and the actual anything criminal was actually on David's side when he went after to see if he could charge somebody with revenge porn, because he did not know that he was being filmed, nor did he consent to being filmed. So now, should he have done it? No, because you're married. Like, you're married. That's
Well,
cheating.
it's not just that he's married. When you're basically married, and I think he's also a pastor, and as well as basically he has a band where his reputation is everything.
Exactly. That, I
So
mean, that's why that's why I'm glad we did the homework yesterday, because to me it was like I was thinking like, because I know David, like I told you, I spent 13 months basically talking to him every week at least for 2 hours, and sexuality never came up. When it finally did with this picture of this woman, we both agreed that it was exploitive and that we didn't want to use it. It was Mark Abatista that decided he wanted to use it. So I mean, I could to find out and to see that I saw the video, and like for somebody who lives in Arizona, he was awfully pale, and the body seemed younger than 54. I mean, now everybody can go out and look for it and give this all some hits or whatever, but the body, it didn't seem, and it also seemed the way that it was being is that if you watch different pornography, sorry, but gay pornography, there's a lot of masturbation videos out there for gay pornography, and it's more rough. And this scene actually, when whatever you see, it looks rough. So I don't even know. Like I want to say it's fake, but that's just because the David Ellefson that I knew was this as straight laced as they came. Besides he liked me.
you really don't know a person, even though you've worked with them, but you only work with him and know him on a certain aspect of life. You don't know what he's like in his personal life or what's behind his brain. So
True.
you'd be surprised. And it's usually the quiet ones, the ones who seem all perfect and sweet and all that. They got a dark side too. So that's human. So you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, it of the loyalty thing. It's more the cheating that kind of was like, I didn't think Dave was like that. But the same thing happened to me in 2014 when James Hetfield started sexting me. He came on as a catfish. I knew it was him. He's not very good at sexting, but anyway, we did it like twice, and then I blocked him and said, I can't do this. You're married. I didn't even tell him. I just blocked him. But it was because he was married. And I mean, just to me, it's like, here's his wife at home. She doesn't know what he's, the kids are teenagers now. He's on the internet, and he apparently got an online pornography addiction. Pardon me, from internet. He was once the kids turned into teenagers, they didn't need him as much. So he was at home. So he was kind of in like a lot of husbands, I'm sure all you husbands are out there who sit in the basement and, play on your computers, play video games or whatever. And so James got an addiction to porn. Most of the stuff he was doing was POV blowjobs and girl on girl stuff, as well as like live webcam stuff. But he wasn't even paying the girls. That's what a cheap asshole he was. He was just watching the live shows. So, I mean, boredom definitely, but for me, like, I mean, James, I'm not surprised. I don't think that his relationship with his wife was ever a loyal one. Maybe for a while when he got sober, but I mean, I know for a fact he had an affair in 2019 till 2023 with someone that was claiming to be my friend. So when it comes down to that, it's like there's certain people you go, okay, I can fucking see that. But with David Ellefson, it was a shocker for me. I have to admit, I really do think for me it was shocking. And I'm no prude. But again, as I said, when I saw the video, I really didn't think it was him. It looked more like AI, like his head had been glued onto it. The same thing happened around that time was Steven Spielberg's daughter, adopted daughter, did a self-pleasure porno video. And I saw it and said, it looks like her head's stuck on the body. So, and I could be totally wrong because I love to give people the benefit of the doubt because nobody's ever given it to me. But, basically, bottom line with David Ellefson, for everybody who wants to gossip about it like they were the last 2 days, it was mutual, it was consensual, everyone was of age. But for Rexy and I, we both believe that it still morally was wrong because he was married. Other than that, I mean, it's kind of a free-for-all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The funny thing is, I think what it is, a lot of times people think if it's online, it's kind of like to them, it's not real because they're not really there.
Yeah.
Kind of like them looking at like a porno or a porno or basically looking at a magazine. So they figure they're not really cheating,
Right.
So
Yeah, definitely.
the thing is, even if his wife probably doesn't make a big deal about it because it wasn't probably physical, but the thing is, it's also basically you put yourself online, you put yourself out there, you have a certain reputation, you got to understand. And that's probably one of the reasons why Dave Mustaine was extremely pissed, and I understand that because
Oh,
he already had
totally.
issues. He already had issues with Dave, and then on top of that, he couldn't have that because pretty much Megadeth is not really a kind of band that really is a sleazy band. They're
Yeah, no,
definitely
there's nothing sleazy about Megadeth. And the other thing was too is that like Dave's pretty like we were talking about yesterday. David Mustaine, kind of a loyal dog to Pam.
yeah.
And so, they're David Ellefson and Dave, their kids are about the same age. So they would have been in their teens when this incident, well, 21, geez, they would have been almost 20. But could have even been 20 actually. But, Dave Mustaine just, yeah, he's never like been that dirty pig. I think the only time I've ever heard him say anything dirty was when he was saying that Kirk Hammett dated his ex-girlfriend and how does he taste? That's the only thing I've ever heard David say that's been salacious.
Oh
Do you know
yeah,
that one?
yeah. He screwed Kirk's a girlfriend, and to just get at him or piss him off years ago.
Oh, really? I
That was
thought
way
it was that he had dated her prior.
I read somewhere that basically there was at one point, before even Pam even existed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Back in like the first earlier years of the
Early
rival of
80s.
Metallica Megadeth thing. I don't know how he came across his girlfriend, Kirk's girlfriend, but
Right.
he did it purposely.
Did
He
he?
nailed her purposely just to piss them
What
off.
a Virgo. What an angry Virgo. Hell hath no fury like a Virgo scorned. Oh my God. Because I just remember that.
It's the virgin sign because it's so fucking. Yeah,
It's
Virgos
just
are weird. They're like the extremity, like
yeah.
they're totally pure and innocent, or completely the biggest on earth.
You know who else did that? Vince Neil. Vince Neil nailed Bruce Dickinson's girlfriend. And Bruce Dickinson challenged him to a fucking sword fight.
Wow. Bruce is pretty big.
Well,
sadly,
both pretty small guys. Both pretty small guys, but Bruce Dickinson's got a fencing background. So
yeah, well, Bruce Dickinson is not Vince Neil. Vince Neil is kind of like one of those characters that I find kind of like ashamed of because he's an Aquarius, and I'm like, how does an Aquarius be such a scumbag? But
yeah,
I guess so.
Well, there,
but,
I mean, Axl Rose is an Aquarius too, and you never heard about him, even though those parties that they had during the Metallica, they Use Your Illusion tour, basically, 1992. There was these after parties, and I actually had a pass to one of them, and we just decided when we heard what happened at them, we just decided not to go to it. So I kind of boycotted the pass. So no, because most of it was strippers. Like, during that tour, I watched Lars with two women. I don't think he was married. I think he was divorced at the time. But he had one woman on each arm, and they were definitely strippers because they had great asses. They were wearing spandex, and it was just like, whoa, like bam. And he was heading to one of these parties. And that's one of the reasons why Lars would have people like Kid Rock and Limp Bizkit on tour with him, because he enjoyed a 3-ring circus. Everything especially if it had to do with sex. Like I ended up at a strip joint with him, right?
Well, it was all part of basically being a rock star. Yeah.
Do you think it's because is that because they want to feed their ego, or is it just as they're pigs?
Well, I think it's because, for one, a lot of them are just really young.
Okay.
And you're talking about guys always hanging out with each other, so guys don't always just want to be with each other. They want to be with women. They want to be with a girl. They need, so it all really depends on the guy and the musician and all that. Yeah. But, something like, when you take something like Motley Crue, that's kind of like that's their motto. That's kind of like their thing, is basically, we're Motley Crue. They're going to be sleazy. So they take things to the extremes in that way.
And that's what we were discussing yesterday, right? Like you were saying what Nikki Sixx did. Go ahead.
Then there's bands that are basically, they do this stuff, but they don't show it. They're not advertising for it. which is fine. I'd rather have that because I don't want to sit there and hear about somebody's freaking escapades and all this kind of shit. It just grosses me out. But
that's why I love Rush, because they were all
crap.
Well, I love Rush because they were married before they started touring, and they toured a lot with Kiss. So of course, Kiss, we talked about this yesterday. They were just like nailing everything that moved, and basically Getty and Alex were like, Neil Peart was in his room reading, and Getty and Alex were already married, and they were in their room watching TV on tour. But apparently, I mean, just recently, Geddy Lee talked about having a cocaine addiction. I was like, what? I'm so naive, right? I'm like, how could Geddy Lee have a cocaine addiction?
Remember too, after, like, we talked about this with Zeppelin, when basically when they're on stage and everything, they got all that energy going on, and they basically, when they get off stage, they have to figure out how to come down from it. Yeah. So they get the groupies and the girls, and it's all a big fucking orgy show, and it wears you out, and they're all drunk. So they kind of basically are able to bring out the fucked up fantasy bullshit, because it's access to them, so they can do it.
Well, and usually there's a gatekeeper prior to the groupie. Like there's usually, I know David Lee Roth used to give the guy, whoever it was, that he would give the guys each like a set of backstage passes when he was in Van Halen, and guys would give girls backstage passes, and whichever one David Lee Roth ended up nailing that night, that guy got, I think, $100. So, sure. I mean, so the sexual exploitation's kind of always been there. Like with Metallica, even in A Year and a Half in the Life of Metallica, there's a part in it, which I was telling you about, where the mother and daughter are standing there, and the mother is proudly proclaiming that she got them backstage passes by sticking a drumstick up her vagina, which was encouraged by one of the crew.
Well, you've heard about the whole mud shark thing with freaking Led Zeppelin, right?
Wait, okay, go tell it. Because there might be somebody out there that doesn't. I've heard, I heard something, I mean, it's the same with now remember, let's do Motley Crue too. Motley Crue, Nikki Sixx bragged about putting a wine bottle up a woman's vagina.
Yeah, wide end first, right, Nikki? But anyway.
Not anymore, he's a good guy now.
Basically, there was a hotel that they were staying at, and it was, I can't remember the name of it, but you were able to fish while being inside the room. There was a way, I guess it's like right off the water.
Okay.
You could actually fish outside the window. And some crazy groupie was in there. She was all, I don't know what she was on or anything like that, but somehow a mud shark thingy came in there, some kind of weird small shark.
Okay.
And she was playing with it very erotically. And set up her own vagina. But then I also heard that basically one of the band members, because it wasn't just Zeppelin, I think it was just the drummer, John Bottom, was there.
John Bottom.
Yeah, and then another band was there too, and the members of some other band was there. So I don't know if it was him that did it or somebody else. But yeah, she was just like all doing it with a weird, crazy shark fish. So that's
there'd be video footage of this if it was now, and we'd all go, okay. But yeah, that's okay. So, and then there's the Hershey Bar with Marianne Faithfull and the Rolling Stones, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, these are all, these were the stories back then. And then, of course, Maggie Trudeau and the Rolling Stones as well. Okay, so then we've got kind of David Ellefson down to it. Both of us agree that it was consensual. It was initiated. He didn't consent to the video. And we do think it was wrong because he was married, because both of us are moralists, I guess you'd say, when it comes to that stuff. But I mean, David's not a polygamist, so I don't know, but we don't know what the rules are with him and his wife. Some of these people have rules where they have an open marriage, or they can do what they keep, the code on the road. So there's that always going on. Okay, so the next one we went with is one that's in court right now. It's about to go to trial. 99% of the case has been dismissed. 99.9%. It's all down to one day, and it's basically it's 50 years old, and it includes Steven Tyler and a girl named, what was her name? Let's get her name up here. Let me see. Okay, let me see. It doesn't say, but he was being charged with uh, sexual abuse and uh, basically in California, the statute of limitations got lowered to a higher, like 25 years. It used to be, I think, 10, and then it went to 25. I don't know how long it is now, but this goes back almost 50 years. And the woman was, she was a teenager. She was 16, and he was with her for 3 years, and basically her parents signed her off to him. Now, this last little bit that's going to court now is about him crossing state lines with a minor, with the intention of sex. How it'll end up, we don't know. But this woman's looking. It's not a criminal case; it's a civil case, and they're looking for she's looking for compensation because she had to have an abortion at the age of 16 or 17. She was with Steven Tyler for 3 years. So it wasn't just a one night thing. This was an ongoing relationship that he was having with her. He called her his teen bride in his book, Does the Noise in My Head Disturb You? And so he was 26, she was 16. Let's talk about that. So what is that? Now, first of all, like he says in the book that obviously she was sexually experienced. The first night he met her, they were intimate or whatever. They did the nasty, as he says it. And I think I don't know where he met her, but obviously it must have been the age of consent. He went to her parents' house, stayed for a few days. They loved him, and they signed her off to him so that he could take over guardianship and take her on the road with him. Yeah. So how do we feel about this?
Well, I knew about the story a long time ago.
Yeah, it's an old story.
It is an old story. I actually, it's in one of their other biographies that I've got. And
That's his book. Is the Noise in My Head Disturbing You? That's what the name of his autobiography is. I've read it.
Well, I don't know if that's the name of the one I've got, because my books are like all clumped in somewhere. But I bought it back in like the late 90s.
Oh yeah. No, I bought mine in 2011. 2011 was that's when I bought mine.
Anyway, what's been going on there? And this is what I know about it, and this is what's disgusting and repulsive about it. Not only the age is just disgusting. You should know better. Basically, a 16-year-old is not smart enough to actually consent to anything. I don't even think 18-year-olds are, but 16 is bad enough as it is. And if you're 26, you are responsible for it.
Yeah.
The thing is that he wanted to marry her. And he actually, here's one part of the story. He actually had to go to his mother or his grandmother to get a ring. That he was going to. I think it's because he's Italian. It's an old tradition that he wanted to get this ring so he can marry her, but his parents didn't like her.
Oh.
And she was already pregnant.
Okay, which is why they forced the abortion.
So, there was he wanted the abortion. I don't know if she was going to actually do it or not, but there's also another part to this, which is actually really terrible.
Yeah.
He was staying, living in a hotel somewhere, and he was basically paying for it, of course, because she couldn't pay for it, and she was pregnant. And when he was on tour, she couldn't go with him. And there was so basically she didn't have any money or ways to get food or anything. So she would talk to him on the phone, and he would set up to have a friend or somebody he knows to go over there and get food for her.
Okay.
There was one instance where his friend went over, and all of a sudden she was blacked out. I don't recall that if he hit her or anything. There was no fight as far as I know. She was blacked out and woke up to a fire.
Whoa.
So she was stuck in this hotel room that was set on fire.
So I see why
I don't know if the guy that basically went over there did it purposely to try to burn her alive.
Right.
But she was able to get out. And I think she was the kid.
But that's what she said. I mean, her whole case is based on that she experienced a lot of trauma being involved with Tyler.
Mm-hmm. So that's another part in there that you should find kind of like discouraged. Did he act? I think there was like a possibility of accusation that he wanted that to happen. So
Really? Wow.
it comes out. I didn't see the case. I don't know if it was brought up. So this
Yeah.
is some of the stuff I've already heard. Yeah, and eventually, he just let her go like garbage because I guess maybe because he couldn't marry her, and and that was it. It was over. Which is
Yeah,
very
like that was
disgusting
what.
because now she's like kind of like on her own. And I don't even know if she can go back to her parents. I don't even know if she did go back to her parents.
Yeah, I guess
So,
I could do some homework to find out if that happened.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's the thing is that it's like Evan Rachel Woods, which we can go into now. My favorite virtue signaling liar. When she turned 18. Oh, for fuck's. Oh, there's always somebody. Anyway, so no, my phone's ringing. Anyway, it never rings, and now it rings.
Of course.
So of course that's just the way it is. Anyway, so Marilyn Manson met Evan Rachel Wood. Evan Rachel Wood was 18, so she was of age. And she basically told her mom, and it's in a Rolling Stone article. You can look it up. It's quoted, so it's the real words. She said she was 18 and I couldn't stop her. And she went on tour with Marilyn Manson. And they say that, I think she said, I can't remember what the name of the video is, heart-shaped something or other. Anyway, they say that she had actual sex in the video with Manson. And then years later, now she's remarried, or she's married, and she was engaged to Manson too. But she got married, had kids, and so you get your Madonna complex. And at the time, that's when Me Too was becoming popular. It had just started to get its traction, and so she started to come after Manson. Mm-hmm. And she just smear campaigned him. She did a video called Phoenix Rising, where she basically just smear campaigns Brian Warner. And I mean, she was 18. Anybody that was there kind of said, she wasn't abused or anything like that. She was free to go if she wanted to go. And, it was kind of like apparently what she was trying to do, because she contacted Rose McGowan, who was Marilyn Manson's first fiance, and wrote, and they said, like, you got to get in on this with us. And Rose McGowan was like, go fuck yourself. Like, he never did that kind of stuff to me. I don't believe he did it to you. I believe he works in a consensual way. We all know he's into BDSM and all that stuff. Like, obviously, right? I've read his autobiography. I think some of it's a bit of bullshit. It's just a little too graphic. But he was into that kind of stuff. And I believe she has what's called bottom's remorse, which is where after you've done a bunch of crazy things with somebody and the relationship ends, you move on to someone else, you regret the things that you've done. And so she tried to take Marilyn Manson down, because I trust Rose McGowan so much. Like, she was one of the first people. She lost her entire career because she was raped by Harvey Weinstein. So, I believe her. When she said she was raped by Harvey Weinstein, Manson believed her, and Manson calls out liars if they're liars. I mean, not lately. Not since this. He's married now. He's married to a woman named Lindsay, who was his personal assistant. He's always been kind of the guy that hasn't minced words and that. And I mean, she was old enough. Let me see how old he was. I'll just check quickly how old he was. But what do you think about it?
I don't.
No, but how do you feel about virtue signalers?
Crying out loud.
Yeah, but how do you feel about virtue signaling? I mean, because you're seeing a lot of it. Like Amber Heard is another perfect example of a virtue signaler.
Yeah, there's these girls, basically, ever since the Me Too movement came out, it's like a lot of these, I can understand the ones who've actually been wrong, from years, because they have been scarred back, like, in the 70s era. But we have an epidemic problem with doing everything we can to take down the bad old white man and shit, and this whole feminism kind of thing, and going out and trying to just demonize and destroy.
I mean, everybody was all of a sudden everybody was a victim. Like there was a senator who was also used to be on SNL. I can't remember his name. But he did like my cat's touching my leg. But he did some sort of show over for the troops. And let me see if I can find it. There was a photograph that he had taken with the girl and with the woman, and she said, "I think I've been sexually exploited too," because it's a picture of him where he's mimicking putting his hands on her breast. She's asleep. It's called Al Franken. Al Franken is the guy's name.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay.
And he stepped away from his job as a senator because of what happened. So, and again, I believe he was Republican.
No,
so it just like it seemed to me like there was a lot of attacks on Republicans. Kavanaugh.
But this was like I think he's a Democrat, Al Franken. But most of those guys in Hollywood are. Yeah, I remember hearing about that, and it was like, well, Al Franken was always pretty much a weirdo anyway, so I never really got really much into the full story, but it was something I heard about. I'm like, well,
right.
You know,
yeah, well, I mean, the thing was that, I mean, first of all, was it necessary for her to post this picture online and out him without having a discussion with him first? Or
cancel culture. So that's the other we have is all this cancel culture.
Yeah, though that's what did. Well, I mean, we can move into Johnny Depp if we want to talk about cancel culture. And as I've said before,
I think
a lot of people
traumatized with that court case for too long.
No, I didn't. Well, the thing was that I originally saw the TMZ video. That's when I sort of got into it. And what Amber Heard was doing, and what a lot of people don't know, is that she was having a secret emotional relationship with Elon Musk when she was married to Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, almost immediately when he married Amber Heard, his mother, Betty Sue, got sick. Now, his mother was his whole world. He doesn't really know his father, and Betty Sue raised them. And she, even though she was crazy and moved them from town to town, he had, he had undying loyalty to his mother. And so he was spending time with her. And Amber, in that time when he was with his mom, was talking to Elon. And Elon encouraged her to do the exact same thing that they were doing to me, which was putting him in situations where to make him look bad. And there's a video where, I mean, she did things like shit in the bed. I mean, she's just like, she's a pig. And, I don't care. Like there's no, like, that's vengeful, like that's spiteful. It's also disgusting and low class. But the video from TMZ, which I'll get for another day to put up so everybody can see it. She basically sets the camera up so Johnny can't see that she's filming, and he's hammered. Now his mother's dying, and like she was such a bitch. Like what Elon Musk's goal was that he either wanted Johnny Depp to be arrested, put in the psych ward, or to kill himself. And his goal basically was that Johnny Depp should kill himself. And so he was having her basically gaslight the shit out of him, and then started taking these videos. And this video, he's smashing stuff. And he can barely talk. Like, he's not even really coherent. And I mean, what wife does that to their husband? Who puts their husband in that kind of a position? She's doing it to defame him or to set him up or whatever. And the next thing you know, it's released on TMZ. And that's how Johnny lost Pirates of the Caribbean. So again, Evan Rachel Wood comes forward as Me Too. Meanwhile, she has a record of assaulting her girlfriend in an airport. She slapped her across the face. So who's the aggressor? Who's the abuser? Right? And right after the day that Johnny Depp's mom died, she served him with divorce papers. That's just complete bitch to me. And then as well, she was just there were so many things she was doing, and then she comes out and she cries that she's the victim, and all of her legal fees and all of her security and everything was paid for by Musk. And right after she broke up with Depp, she started dating Musk for a year. But then Elon figured it out that she's actually gay. So, that didn't last long. But yeah, he just, it's just a crazy story. But again, another one where she's saying he's the bad guy, and really it's the narcissism. It's a narcissist turning it around on somebody.
Well, going back to Steven Tyler, what do you think about the case coming on? Do you think that he should be charged?
Well, this is a civil action. So this isn't criminal. Time has gone by.
Yeah. So Are you still there? Oh, I can't hear you again.
Hold on 1 second. Again, the mic goes. Hold on. There,
Uh,
I'm back. Right? Can you hear me now?
yeah, last thing I heard you say was time goes by.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
time
So
went by.
yeah, time has passed. When I was growing up, I knew a girl named Carolyn, and she looked 24, and she was 13, and
Mhm.
she had daddy issues, so she was just banging guys, right? So I mean,
Sure.
oh yeah, like she was the area bicycle. Everybody took her for a ride. Um,
Uh-huh.
you know, but so she like I mean, there are these young women, like he said in the book, when he met this 16-year-old, she knew how to do the nasty. Did she disclose she was 16 right off the bat? I mean, I don't know. Did she? Because a lot of these girls, I mean, look on Instagram, right?
Well, he knows she was a teenager.
Yeah, definitely. That you can
It
tell when
wasn't
she's a
like his
teenager. But
secret. He already intended on wanting to marry her and all this kind of stuff. I mean,
yeah,
and she, get the nasty, which doesn't mean anything if you're doing it with other teenage boys. Or, I mean, it's kind of like, well, it's not really a law issue, and these are dumb people. Kids are kids; they do stupid shit together. It's
yeah,
but you're an adult. You're supposed to be, you know, you can't, she can't consent with an adult. So
yeah. I don't know what state they were in and what the age of consent was at the time. But like I said, 99.9% of the case has been dismissed except for this one time. And
right,
basically, it's transporting a minor across state lines for sexual purposes.
yeah,
So now that's not a criminal charge, though; it's a civil charge. Now, if this woman experienced trauma and wasn't compensated and is looking for compensation, I can see that, like you said, because I didn't know about the fire
mm,
and this and that. But obviously she was used, right? But they did have a 3-year relationship. Same with another.
well,
Well,
I
hmm?
think what it was is that basically when he found out that she, he didn't get the approval for the marriage with
Hmm.
her by the family, he kind of just dumped her.
Oh, did he? Is that how it went?
Well,
Okay.
he decided. Well, he didn't dump her right away, but he decided he probably in his own mind probably decided that it's not going to happen. So
So it's not going to happen.
yeah, and then basically you have the thing about the fire and everything. Was it intentional? He was trying to get rid of her
Right.
because he didn't want to have responsibility with her anymore. Didn't want to have the kid because I think she was carrying the kid still.
I wonder if the management see because management's always been big on like I mean Jimi Hendrix. One of the rabbit holes with Jimi Hendrix is that they killed his girlfriend after he died, pushed her off a building.
No.
Yeah, like just because she knew that she knew like there's always been a story that management killed Jimi Hendrix.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones who gave him the lethal dose. And we see the same with the Memphis Mafia with Elvis, where they're enabling people. They enabled him with barbiturates and amphetamines, which were his thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's another question: was man not that but you see, management gets involved. Like I mean, they're totally involved most of the time, especially if the bigger acts. They can't stop them from doing anything, but they can also enable them and
Sure.
protect.
Oh, sure. Like I told you, check out that Badfinger story when you get a chance.
Okay,
Um,
I want you to tell me about this Badfinger story.
well, I have to go back through it too because I sound like a moron when I kind of like going, well, what I remember this, blah, blah. I kind of like wish I could have gone through it so I could have a more solid way of explaining it.
Okay.
But it has to do with the song. I think it's called Without You.
Okay.
And it's a famous, by Harry Nilsson that sings it. He made it famous, but it was actually written by Badfinger. And there's a lot about this story because that song was about a girl and all that he was in love with. And also it has to tie into doing with management and the managers that they had probably just took all the money and left and they were broke. They're broke. So I'd rather just kind of go back through the story again and kind of give you better details because there's stuff that relates to that song and about their management.
Okay. So
So
do you want to wait and talk about that like on Saturday?
Yeah, we can either try Saturday or
Cool.
another time.
Yeah, no
But
problem.
at
Yeah,
this
we can
point,
keep this. I mean, this conversation could go on and on. I mean,
oh sure. Oh, no,
next
there's
on
a
our
lot we
list,
can
there's
go into.
a lot of
We can go
pervs.
into basically Lori Maddox and a lot of other things with rock stars, and you know who
Well, we can
Lori
do Patty
is.
Boyd even, right? Patty Boyd,
Huh?
pass around Patty,
Yeah, Patty.
right?
Oh yeah, I was going to talk about that Chrissy. What was her name? Chrissy Flynn or Fly or something like that. Yeah, we can talk about that kind of experience with in the early years, like I think it was late '60s, early '70s. Jimmy Page and Ronnie Wood, and some of the guys from the Rolling Stones, and how they're swapping girlfriends and wives and all that
Yep.
kind of stuff. And this girl, Chrissy, she was married to Ronnie Wood. So I guess her could say her name was actually Chrissy Wood, but she
Right.
had what her maiden name was. I can't remember right off.
Here, I
So
can look
I
it
would
up.
like to go into that and how that got stumbles
Go.
around and how repulsive that is. So yeah, I guess this is like the pervert week. Talk about
Chrissy Finlay.
disgusting things about these rock stars.
Okay, so they met in 1964, married in 1971, and had one son, and they divorced in 78, and she was the first wife of him. How old was she? Hold on, let me just see how old she was. How old?
I don't know how old she was.
Let's see. No, this is when she died. When they met, she died of an accidental overdose at 57 in June 2005.
Yeah, she was suffering from major depression, and Ronnie Wood stopped
Think?
sending the payments.
She was 16 when they met, and he was 23.
Yeah,
They got married in 1971 when Chrissy was 23. So they had a relationship for 8 years before they got married.
mm-hmm.
So she was 16. How old was he? Old was he was doesn't Chrissy's age when they met 16, but it doesn't say Ronnie's age when they met 17. So they said he was 17. So they were around the same age.
Really?
That's what it says.
Wow. Yes,
Yeah.
I didn't know how old they were. I just know about the situation with all the weird
So
stuff.
he's 79 right now. He's 79.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, I know, because basically all those guys are around the same age. Mick Jagger and Jimmy Page are 82, so they're like late 70s, early 80s.
yeah. Do we want to talk about Scarlett? Do we want to talk about Scarlett?
About his girlfriend?
Jimmy Page's girlfriend?
Oh.
Not sure if you wanted to, because we love Jimmy Page. So Jimmy Page, please don't hate us. We still want to stalk you if you ever come to England. We love you.
I know, he really loves that idea. Oh, good. They still want to stalk.
Great. They still want to stalk me.
Wait.
Now, Jimmy Page is 82, I believe.
Yeah, he's 82. She's 37.
Yeah, she's 37, and they've been together for 14 years. So she would have been 25 when they met.
It's 12 years.
Okay, hold on.
I
Do this again.
Like
Scarlett
12
Jimmy Page.
I don't want Jimmy Page.
Jimmy.
Yeah. Well,
Page
if you want to
starts.
talk Jimmy Page, we can talk about all his shit. You were talking about basically 16-year-olds. Well, we could talk about Lori Maddox, and she was only 14.
Okay, so there was 46 years age difference between Jimmy Page and Scarlett Sabet, who now, okay, so tell me about this other one. Is this another? He seemed to have a flavor for younger women. Like he liked younger women.
I guess so. Basically, he's. I was going to go back to the time when during their heyday years, when because he met her, later after he divorced his second wife. He met Scarlett.
Right, and it's weird because one of his kids is named Scarlett, which I think is gross.
Yeah, that's a coincidence. I wonder if that's just a common name.
I hope so.
England, probably.
You remind me of my daughter.
There's Scarlett Johansson, and she's kind of was she like Swedish or something, descent or something? So
I don't know. I think she's great though. I love Scarlett Johansson. I think Scarlett Johansson's great. She's the highest paid actress in Hollywood, and she's making sure that women are getting paid properly now. So yeah, I have a lot of respect for her. So
Yeah, so basically, I think that's just coincidence. I don't think it was like any kind of strange thing going behind that. But yeah, from what I understand, he met her at a poetry reading. She's a poet.
Poetry. Oh, Scarlett. Are you
Yeah,
doing? Yeah, there's something that she has an album actually of. I call it the Muses Musing, and it's all her reading her poetry. It's an
yeah.
actual record.
So, and he somehow ended up. I don't know how he knew about her or something like that, or why he was there. It's just that's how he met her. That's all I know. But
Yeah.
and this happened.
Now I thought she was a family friend, so you're helping me here. You're enlightening me, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know about her being a family friend. That could be something I just missed. And when I was like, reading about it,
Mhm.
it's kind of jarring when you read about stuff like that because it's like there's so difference in age. So it's like,
Yeah,
how much do I
46
really want to
years.
know about this? I
Yeah,
mean, I don't really want to know much about this. I don't want to get too into it. So
yeah.
sometimes it takes me a while to kind of, get used to the idea before I go into doing research. Because you look at those two together and it looks like grandpa and granddaughter. It doesn't look right, and it's just so fucked up weird. But
They're happy. They've
there's
been
nothing
together
we can
14
do about
years.
it. That's my
Yeah,
opinion. It's just weird.
yeah.
But
Oh,
if you
definitely.
want me to start talking about Jimmy Page and his history, we could do that, and then we can talk more about Scarlet in
Okay.
that. We'll start with from what I know from the early years, and then go through. But we couldn't do that today because I'm not prepared for that. That's a lot of
Okay.
work.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean,
we'll actually do a
I
Jimmy.
have a lot of homework here to do. I have a lot of other things to do too. So I'm a very busy girl now.
No,
Thanks a
yeah, well,
lot, Marianne.
you're doing great, Brett. Like, I just appreciate you so much for coming on and doing these with me. It's just so much fun. It's nice to have somebody on my wavelength for a change because, when you talk about music with somebody who's really not into it, you're talking to yourself.
Yeah.
And, it gets disappointing and frustrating. So
My,
yeah,
it's like
I'm
my
always
family.
grateful
My
for you.
family knows nothing about the stuff I know. So
Yeah.
that's why I never talk
So,
to them. I'm the blonde sheep of the family.
oh,
So
yeah. Oh, cool. That's good. Yeah, well, me too. But so the other person that I had up as a topic, which is he's always being called a pedophile, is Ted Nugent,
yeah, he's a pig.
everybody's favorite Republican. And Ted Nugent got involved with a woman who was Hawaiian, and she was 17. And he got guardianship of her so that he could take her on tour with him. They had a 9-year relationship. Let me see how old he was, though, just to answer that first. Um, so, a second. But how do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about Ted Nugent? Besides, he's an
I
amazing
don't have a
guitar player.
problem with him politically.
Yeah,
I do have a problem being a pig. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I really Ted Nugent totally disappointed me about 10 years ago. I really kind of stopped ever listening to any of the stuff he does, and the
Right.
reason is that he had a show on. He had like some kind of reality show,
Oh, the one
and
where he's hunting people?
yeah.
Yeah, I love that show.
And if you remember, there was a young kid in there. Now, he's supposed to be kind of like the influence with these young kids just playing guitar and getting into music.
Right.
And he was telling this kid, stay away from fat girls.
Fat girl.
And I'm like, what? You're telling a kid not to talk to or deal with or have sex or anything to do with fat. What business is that is yours?
Yeah, well,
And he was really basically, saying how disgusting it was. And there's been a couple of times he thinks fat people should die.
yeah,
And
well, he's an interesting cat. Every day he has like a I call it canned hunting, where he's got a deer being raised on his property, and he actually kills something every single day, and then he donates the meat to local food banks and places like that. But every day he kills something. So there's when you kill something every day, there's something really it's like guys that work in slaughterhouses. There's something you know you got to detach yourself from it. The other
well,
thing I think
maybe
is
he
funny is
wants to slaughter fat women. I don't know, but
ah,
he thinks they
the
should
girl's
die.
the
Pretty
girl's
much.
name was Pele Massa. She was 17 and he was 30 in 1978. So not a huge 13-year age difference, but again, she was 17.
Yeah, still too young. He's
Still
30. He's
yeah.
30 years
Well,
old.
30, I had, okay, we'll do a true confession here. When I was 13, I was with that girl, Marilyn, and we met boys. She knew this boy, and we stayed up all night, played poker and stuff. And she went with the one fella, and I ended up making out, like no sexual contact or anything, because I was still a virgin. I was 13, and I think he thought I was older. I finally had to tell him to slow down, like. And I said, because I go, I'm 13. I thought the guy was going to like climb and claw the walls. Like he was just freaked right out. Right. And but I was like trying to look like a grown up. I had too much makeup on and everything like that. But yeah, he thought I was older. I'm sure he thought I was at least 18, and I was 13. I was the same height as I am now when I was 13. So I was 5'7.5", which is like kind of tall for a 13-year-old. Not these days. These days they're fucking gigantic. But yeah, so I mean, but did he stop? Yeah, he stopped. I mean, he was smart enough that he knew that it wasn't the right thing to do in that. But at the same time, it still was very uncomfortable, and it shouldn't have happened at all, right? But fucking, I was a kid. I didn't know any better. I had daddy issues.
Well, yeah, I had father issues, but mine was the opposite.
Okay.
I really was never really into basically wanting to go just sleep with guys easily. My issues were a little bit different because basically it's more or less trust. It's a trust and fear factor. So it was a little bit different.
Well, this was
it's not a sexual thing. It was more of a fear thing. So I never really had like a daddy issues in a sexual manner. It was more like daddy issues and like trusting men kind of factor. So,
I didn't have sex at 13. I was not having sex. I was not having anything. Like I didn't know anything. I was, it just wasn't. But I was too into music and things like that. And this girl Marilyn kind of also at 13, she got pregnant, had to have an abortion. So she kind of like opened up my eyes to, what could happen. And I just was like, I don't really want to be like that. So, I waited long enough. I waited till the appropriate time that, and then I had a roommate or a friend that was all she did was hassle me about being a virgin. Finally, I was like, okay, let's just get rid of this.
Yeah. Oh, boy, I got such weird fucking experience with the whole virgin thing because I lost my virginity later than most girls.
Okay. So, not later than my roommate Carmen. She lost her virginity at 40.
No, I lost mine at 21.
Okay. Yeah. Oh no, that's okay. That's okay.
Next to a lot of girls, that seems late. And it's like actually that's normal.
Yeah. Well, most girls, from what I gather, they start exploring their sexuality when they go to college. Yeah. A lot of them. A lot of them end up gay for a day at college.
I'm just basically, I just didn't have any boyfriends in high school. So, I
had like one.
Date much. Guys didn't like me. So I never really got to date and anything like that. And that's okay, And my friend, I had a friend that used to hook me up and meet guys and stuff. But not to where I was like, so it's like, I wasn't that a physical touchy type of person. For me to actually do anything like that, I have to really know you and I have to have a relationship with you in some factor. And that's just the way I always was.
Right.
It's a trust. You gotta remember, if I have trust issues, I'm not going to just want to just be close to somebody. So, right. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that way. It wasn't until I was like 20, almost, I think I just turned 21, but it was somebody I knew from high school.
Right.
I was friends with him for a few years.
Yeah. So that's exactly the same with me was like, and that's funny because like the person that I gave it up to it's a guy that last week tell everybody in the audience, last week after the show, I started getting I got 18 texts in a row from this guy who wanted to have sex with me. And I was like, we did that when I was 16. We're not doing it now. Right. But yeah, it was like really came on pretty strong. It was flattering because I'm an old bird. But at the same time, it's still like, it's been so long since I've dated and things like that. Cause dating is so different now. It's just not what it.
It's all about electronics and bullshit, and there's
Yeah.
nobody really. There's no place to go, really.
Yeah, well, recipe card dating doesn't do it for me. Impressing somebody online, like all this, you used to have to spend hours and hours chatting with somebody before they'll even meet you for a cup of tea.
Yeah,
And
no, I like the old fashioned way where you kind of like just happen to see them and meet them because you know what you're getting, well, at least when you first see them, and they know what they're getting when you first see them. It's kind of a vibe you feel with people. You know?
yeah, it's organic, right?
Yeah, it's just better that I always liked it that way. But you know, we don't have any hot guys in this world, and we haven't had any hot guys in this country, or at least in my part of the country, in a very long time. So pretty much, it's like after I don't know, I hit like 30. After 30 something, it's like all the hot guys are gone. Where are they? And it's kind of like it's not like I could go. It's like I'm not saying they all got married. I'm just saying if you walk around in the neighborhoods and go to the stores, you won't find a hot guy.
Wow. You know what's weird? I can't see my audio on this. I wonder if it's working. We could be having a conversation where they're only hearing your side because it's not showing me that I'm getting any audio.
Uh-oh.
Ha ha. Can you imagine if we have to do this over again? Ha ha ha. Oh, fuck. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's not coming up. Hold on. Okay, unmute. And it should be going, but it's not showing me anything. Let's see. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so
is there somebody mowing the lawn or something?
Okay, so yeah, you can hear me. So somebody must be able to hear me, but it's not showing it on the thing. Yeah, outside of I live like in a townhouse complex, and there's a building beside us. So yeah, there's always somebody doing something. But I mean, they wait till the very last minute. So like bumblebees got their to pollinate all the dandelions, which is good. But other than that, so yeah, I guess we can wrap it up there. But yeah, so how young is too young? I guess. Well, I mean, you don't see it very often now. I mean, Matt Sorum's wife. I can check that too. Ace Harper. She is Matt Sorum and Ace Harper. He's 64, I think. Ace Harper. She's a clothing designer, and age difference. Here we go. She's a designer, and there's 24 years between them. So I guess not too bad. She's 42. Yeah. He's 65.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a point to where an age gap doesn't really matter. And right. It's kind of like if you're talking like 20 years and he's like 65 and she's 45, that's not much of a big deal.
Right.
But
it's like James and his enabling fiance. She's 47. He's 62.
Yeah, that's not a big deal. That's all right. That's not a big thing because you're talking about two people who are like 20 years apart. She's already past her prime time. You know what I mean? She's already had her kids or whatever and all that kind of stuff. And he's not looking for that. It makes sense. That is loud.
But the whippersnapper guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll wrap it up then.
You're talking like good old, Jimmy Page, who's like probably met his girlfriend when he was around 70, and she's like 25.
Yeah,
that's obnoxious. That's terrible.
Well, Tony Randall from The Odd Couple. Yeah, he married a woman who was like in her 20s, and he became a father. He was 72 when he became a father. Yeah, same with Mick Jagger. Cool. Mick Jagger's girlfriend's in her 30s, and he's 80, and they have an 8-year-old child.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That doesn't make sense. I think there's something bullshit about that. So I don't think it's real.
Well, I'm kind of impressed with the fact that he can still get a heart on that age.
I don't think it's real. I don't.
Well, there's a baby involved, so he must have got it hard at least once. So, now we're cutting in and out. Oh, now you're gone. It's cutting in and out now. All right, we're having technical difficulties, so there's no point in continuing this conversation.
Well,
now you can see me. So, like my hair? Yeah, well, I'm still working out the glitches on this thing, so we're episode 4, which, and I'm no tech guru. I gave up on that a long time ago. So hopefully this worked. If not, it's going to be you talking by yourself, which will be fun too. So I'm going to upload this now. So the goal really behind this was just sort of to get the air, clear the air on the Ellefson stuff, because just not that I should have any loyalty to David Ellefson, but I just felt like it was necessary because they were saying that he groomed this girl, and from the information that we have online and from the police, she was the initiator. So it was creepy because, there's age difference, and he was married, but other than that, he wasn't predatorial. So, and in the end, it was a friend that released the videos, not her. Are you gone now? Now I can't even hear you.
Listening to you. I don't have to talk.
All right, so we'll end it here. We'll see everybody on Saturday for our regular tea spilling. I've got lots of juice on stuff. And thank Rexy as usual. And this is Marianne, is 5150, and have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.